Hi, thanks for watching. On this channel, I do affordable fragrance reviews such as Bath and Body Works and Victoria's Secret, as well as some other houses. Today, I have a Victoria's Secret review in comparison for Cashmere Fleur. I haven't heard too many people talking about this fragrance. I think Teresa Ann mentioned it in a recent video. This is, from what I can tell from the packaging, a new addition to their core line with fragrances such as Bare Vanilla and Amber Romance. But yeah, I haven't heard too many people talking about this, so I wanted to go ahead and do a review and comparison. This is a rose-centered scent, so I'm comparing this to some other rose scents from Bath and Body Works and Victoria's Secret. So if that sounds interesting to you, you're curious about the scent, hold on tight, like and subscribe, and I'll be right back. So, as I previously mentioned, this is a new addition to the core line of Victoria's Secret, which I can kind of just tell from the packaging, like it resembles other packaging from their core line, which, let's see, like here's Bare Vanilla. Yeah, so you can tell from the packaging that it's the core line because it just has like the square with the, name of the fragrance. There's no other like decorations or anything. So this is just how they package these core fragrances. Now, unlike a lot of people, I don't really have like a sentimental, like I feel like a lot of reviewers I watch, they have this like sentimental thing about like Love Spell or maybe Bare Vanilla or Pear Glacé. I don't think I ever wore any of these in high school, so I don't have like a sentimental attachment to any of their core fragrances. And a lot of them do kind of date back to like the 90s, early 2000s, and they do, to me, a lot of them smell very dated. So like Pear Glacé, um, Amber Romance, they all smell a little dated to me. So I'm not the biggest fan of their core line, but I do like the flankers of the core line. So I like it when they come out with like the brulee or the cashmere, and then they do something a little bit more modern with those core fragrances. So in general, I'm not a big fan of the core line. I don't really have an interest in most of those fragrances, but this was a new one, so I decided to go ahead and give it a try. I did look up on Fragrantica to see if this is like an older scent that they brought back, and there was no indication of that. So I think this is just a new scent that they're adding to the core line, which is kind of interesting just because I don't really see them doing a lot of that. I feel like the core line is usually pretty consistent. Some scents might come and go, like strawberries and champagne kind of comes and goes, but otherwise it kind of tends to be the same. So, maybe they just wanted to add a little, spice it up a little bit. So yeah, Cashmere Fleur. But yeah, it's a new scent. From what I can tell, it's not bringing back a older scent from like back in the day or anything like that. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into the review, and then I'll compare this to some other scents from Victoria's Secret and Bath and Body Works that are rose scents. So there's not much in the way of scent notes here. It just says sugared rose and vanilla cashmere. That's it. Sometimes it has like, sometimes the weird thing about Victoria's Secret scents is like they have scents on the front and the back that don't necessarily match each other. So it'll be like a couple notes on the front and a couple notes on the back, and then like what Ksenia likes to call like a poem. It's like, what does it say? Luxurious and inviting. So kind of more of like the vibe of the fragrance versus the notes. So it just basically lists rose and vanilla. Um, but Fragrantica, when I was just happening to look up whether this was a new scent or not, said pear was also in there. So I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure where Fragrantica gets their scent notes from because they don't always match what the product is like advertising itself as. But yeah, they did list pear in there. So let's see if I pick that up as well. So this does start off kind of like a bright, fresh rose. Um, so it does have a sort of dewy quality to it, like a dewy rose petal kind of quality to it. And maybe like a little bit of greenness, and I feel like maybe that could be the pear, or it could just be like an aspect of the rose, that it's like the, rose where it's like the petals, it's dewy, a little stemminess in there as well. But it's certainly not like a green fragrance or anything like that. So yeah, I'm definitely getting rose. I don't know if I'm really picking out pear particularly, but just kind of like maybe like a crisp fruitiness in general. And I just sprayed this, but it does dry down to like a pretty nice, warm, like vanilla dry down base. So overall, I do like this. It's not super sweet, but it is like a nice blended rose. So I'm not, as if you watch my videos, I'm not a floral fan. I don't really like rose fragrances. I did a whole review on the Scarlet, Very Sexy Scarlet. I'm like looking up where it's over there. Not really a fan of that. That's like a rose. That's just like a rose scent. Like there's nothing else to that scent. It's just rose. This has rose, but it's kind of a softer rose. It's got that dewiness to it. A little sweet, but not overly sweet. It says sorry. It says sugared rose, but it's not candied or anything like that. And then, like I said, it dries down. It has like a nice vanilla cashmere dry down with like like a warm, maybe slightly ambery vanilla dry down. So, given that I'm not a big floral person, it's probably not going to be like my first pick, but I do like it. I like it for a rose fragrance. So let's go ahead and get into some comparisons with some other scents that are rose centered from Bath and Body Works and Victoria's Secret. And I just remembered I need to pull another one because I just remembered the Delina dupe from Bath and Body Works, which is, what's it called? Covered in Roses. Let me pull that one too. It's starting to dry down, and that vanilla is coming through, and any of the greenness of the rose is dying down, and it's just like rosy, like a soft rose with vanilla. So I don't have, like, this might be a good comparison with some other Bath and Body Works scents that I don't have. Like, I think there was like whipped rose vanilla or something like that. I don't have that. So what I have here is Rose Twilight and Rose Lychee, which are respectively from the Ramadan and Chinese New Year collections from, not this past year, but I think 2 years ago, from Victoria's Secret. And then I have um, Always and Forever, Rose. Oop, sorry, I can't hold three at once. Always and Forever, Rose, and then Covered in Roses. So I think these are the only rose centered fragrances I have from Bath and Body Works. And then there's also Rose Whip, which I have a sample of from Phlur. So let's start with a Victoria's Secret one, since it's the same, maker. It's probably going to be most similar. All right, so this Rose Twilight, like I said, it's the Ramadan collection from 2 years ago. And I just want to say, I really appreciate that Victoria's Secret does these Ramadan and Chinese New Year collections, because I just think that's nice that they do that, and it's not just all about just like Christmas and those typical holidays, that they are giving some, you know, giving something towards people who celebrate other holidays besides like the, typical ones that we, tend to see in the US. Um, so I really like that they have those collections. I wish Bath and Body Works would do more stuff like that. So this one is red grapefruit, soft musk. Okay, so, and rose, obviously, because it says Rose Twilight. Once again, the notes on these Victoria's Secret ones are kind of weird. So this one definitely doesn't sound as like warm. So yeah, it's definitely like the grapefruit you can smell. The rose I'm not getting as much. So with the Cashmere Fleur, like the rose, I get right away. This one, I feel like it's mostly a grapefruit fruity scent with just like a slight rosiness to it, and then just like, like a musky undertone. So, just like something at the base, but mostly it's fruity. And it's nice. I don't dislike it. But yeah, I'd say this is pretty different because it doesn't have like the vanilla. It's not that rose heavy. So that's pretty different. Rose lychee, not sure how you like to say that. Rose petals, pink lychee, patchouli musk. So once again, pretty different notes there because besides the rose, it's not vanilla, it's lychee and patchouli in this case. And I think maybe this is kind of like Victoria's Secret's attempt to do a Delina. And this one's nice too. The rose quality is very different. Once again, it's more fruity. So I think that lychee is really like the fruitiness in there. So I'd say that these two are kind of similar, like the rose lychee and the rose twilight are kind of similar because they're both like more fruit forward, I'd say, with grapefruit for one and then lychee for the other. And then just kind of like a slightly warm base and just like a very subtle rose scent. I'm not really getting patchouli from this at all. Might as well just say musk as well because it's just like a slight something, a slight body to the base. But yeah, more fruity, I'd say. So these and this do not have too much in common, but they're all nice. So on to Bath and Body Works. So let's just start with rose. I'm trying to think. I have like a lotion for like the rose vanilla, but I don't know. I just know it doesn't smell that similar. So I don't even want to pull it out. Same with the Scarlet, like the very sexy Scarlet. Like it's just that's so rosy. And I really feel like the rose vanilla like wellness line from Bath and Body Works is also just like really rosy. I don't really get vanilla out of that. So yeah, those are other ones, but okay, Airy. So this is Rose, just Rose from Bath and Body Works. I keep thinking my mom would like this, and I keep wanting to like give it to her, but I just haven't gotten around to it. So maybe I don't know, this Christmas or something, I'll give this to her. Um, Airy rose water, jasmine petals, and creamy musk. My mom used to wear that. What was it called? Like the rose. Gosh, I can't remember now. It was very like a very rosy scent that she used to wear back in the day, back in the 90s. And I used to like put it on myself. Like it can't have like a dabber or something like that. Tea rose. Yeah, it was just like tea rose. I don't know if it was a particular brand, but that was like a scent that she had was tea rose. So I feel like she'd like this. So yeah, and this does have that like tea rose kind of vibe. It's kind of jammy, a little bit of a jammy rose, but it's like strong. It's like a spicy rose too. So spicy jammy rose. And it has a depth to it as well, like kind of a warm fruitiness to it as well. So it doesn't list any fruits, but I do feel like there's kind of just like a fruity component to it as well. And then maybe the jasmine is just giving a little bit more like complexity to the florals. So I'm not as big of a fan of this one. I think it's pretty, but once again, I think it's like something my mom would like more than me. All right, so then there's Always and Forever, which was the wedding collection from last year. Or was it this year? Let's see. Yeah, last year was First Sight. This year is Always and Forever. So yeah, this was the more recent one. So pearlized pink pepper, white roses, and sheer sandalwood. This one's a little bit more like the Cashmere Fleur. So it's like, it's rosy, but it's not like that spicy rose or anything like that. It's got a warmth to it. But this rose is a little bit stronger, I feel like, than the Cashmere Fleur. Yeah, I can get like the pink pepper in there. And yeah, it's like just like the warm base is like sandalwood, so it's just a little bit more woody than the Cashmere Fleur. It's a nice scent, but it's just very proper smelling or something like that. Like, I just don't really see myself wearing this very much because it just seems like something you'd wear to like a fancy tea party or something. And I'm just like, not really going to any fancy tea parties these days. Although I'd like to. So yeah, I mean, this is good. It's a little bit similar to the Cashmere Fleur, but I feel like the Cashmere Fleur is a little bit more wearable for just like every day, like throwing on something for work or just running errands. All right, so lastly, from what I have is, well, actually I have the Phlur scent too, but from Bath and Body Works is Covered in Roses. So this is their Delina dupe. I've never smelled Delina ever in my life. So like, I've said it before, I'll say it again. I'm not gonna buy a $300 perfume, like, ever. It doesn't matter how good it smells. I'm never gonna buy a perfume that costs that much money. So this is ruby berries, sugared rosebuds, and blush amber. So also says like sugared rose. So let's see how similar this is. Oh, but this is like much spicier. I'm not sure what's giving it the spice, because nothing about these notes make it seem like it would be spicy. Although I have heard that Delina is kind of spicy. So yeah, I mean, it's spicy. Like I said, I don't know where these spices are coming from, because nothing in the notes would indicate like a spiciness. But yeah, it's quite like peppery, like not pink pepper, like pepper. And then it's got the rose. It's fresh. And then I'm not really getting red berries. I'm just getting like a peppery rose scent with just a little warmth in the base. I'm not a fan of this. Some people love it. This has been one of their more popular everyday luxuries, but not for me. So I don't think I'd like Delina either, because Delina is supposed to be like a spicy rose scent. That's just not my thing. Okay, so last thing is Rose Whip from Phlur. And I did another video just going through this little minis thing and going through these. And I like the Rose Fleur from what I remember. So let's see. Where is it? Oh, I was saying the wrong thing. Not Rose Fleur, Rose Whip. Cashmere Fleur is the Victoria's Secret. Okay, so it says for this one, top pink pepper, black currant, heart, rose, osmanthus, and nutmeg, and base amber, cashmere wood, and musk. And I did get, I'm going to do another video on this, I think. I have like boxes sitting in front of me of stuff that I need to like find a spot for. I got this. Leah Janae talked about this, and I'm going to do a separate video. But this is like these minis, Phlur, for Vanilla Skin, Rose Whip, Missing Person, and Father Figure. So I just thought this was so cute. As someone who doesn't need a big bottle of perfume because I have hundreds of perfumes, like, I like getting smaller sizes because there's no way I'm never going to go through a full size perfume. So yeah, I'll do a separate video on that. But for now, I'm just going to use this sample here, and I'll just spray this on my skin. So yeah, it's starting off once again like a little spicier, but not as spicy as that Covered in Roses. But it's got a sweetness to it as well, and a complexity to it, a fruitiness to it. It's the osmanthus. Osmanthus is a flower, but it has like a peachy quality to it, and it's got the black currant. It has that nutmeg, so that's giving it kind of like a nice warm spiciness to it. It's a little jammy too. And it hasn't dried down, but I think I remember having like a nice warm dry down too. So this is a very nice scent. Obviously, it's a different caliber than a Victoria's Secret body mist because it's a perfume. But I would say that I think this is the most similar in the kind of overall vibe or quality of the scent in terms of just being like warm and kind of, I don't know, fruity, sweet, a little like vanilla-ish in the dry down. I can't, does it say vanilla? It doesn't say vanilla, but it's got like a nice, like warm, sweet base. So I'd say that Cashmere Fleur is the most similar to the Rose Whip in terms of like the kind of rose it is, and it would be maybe like a good layering combination. I've actually tried that, but maybe it would be a good layering combination. So I'm gonna just spray this again. So yeah, they're kind of more on the same spectrum, I guess. I don't know. But obviously this is a body mist, and it's like more, this is more fresh, and this is more like deep and spicy. But there is more commonality with this and the Rose Whip than it's very different from any of the Bath and Body Works ones. It's similar to the Victoria's Secret ones just because it's like Victoria's Secret like has their way of doing scents, and that's like their way of doing rose. It's never going to be that, you know, harsh or spicy or anything like that. It's always going to be kind of like a sweet, digestible rose. So I like it. Overall, I'd say I like this a lot. I'm not a big fan of any of these Bath and Body Works roses because they really are like a little bit strong and spicy. I do like these Victoria's Secret ones, which are just like a fruity scent with like a rose undertone, and I do like the Phlur scent as well. So last thing, I just have the lotion here. Yeah, I haven't opened this yet. The texture of this seems a little different. Sometimes Victoria's Secret lotions can be very, I don't know, like a weird gritty texture. The lotion's nice. It's kind of a little bit more fruity, less rosy. So not getting as much of that vanilla, but it might need to dry down. Right, so overall, I'd say I do like this release from Victoria's Secret. I do think it's a nice addition to their core line because I don't think they really had anything like this. And for a rose scent, I do think it's nice. I think it's wearable, and I think it's, you know, nicely done. I don't think it smells, I don't know, cheap or anything like that. So, so yeah, if you're in the market for maybe like a slightly floral, everyday wear kind of scent, I think this could be a good choice if you like just something that's like a little floral but like warm and just, you know, pleasant. Then, you know, check out Cashmere Fleur. Let me know in the comments what you think about the scent if you tried it out, or your thoughts on rose scents in general. Do you have a favorite? I know there's a lot out there. You know, some people love rose, and for me, not my favorite note, but I don't mind when it's just, blended in with something else, and it's more of a side character versus the main character. All right, well, thanks again. Thanks for watching. Once again, like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.